My goodness. What an introduction. What a guy. Well, I want to add my thanks to everyone, particularly Susan, who pursued me through the tricks of the election of 2012 to get us together on a date. And I want to thank those of you who come out today to share this day with us. This is my first public speech since the election season is over. And on last Tuesday, whatever it was, just on the 6th of November, when I talked Channel 9 into doing their first ever live election night coverage. So that was a milestone for us, and it stretched our staff. They used equipment that they had not used since the building was put together. They connected the radio part of our station, the television part of our station, and Scott Schaefer and I could both report from our own medium's point of view of what the election was looking like. So that was a great evening. And then came, of course, that so-called last night, when by design I had looked at my life as a full circle. If you've looked at or know anything about my book, my resolve to become a journalist and on television for no reason that made sense was born on the night of a Republican convention at the Cow Palace. And it was not a pleasant experience. I was more than told not to be there. We were not credentialed to be there. So when we were first feeling a little frightened about being there, we thought the person broke the rules. It was more than that. It was not a pleasant beginning, but it was one where I felt the power of the media in the conduct of this crowd that was pretty rauncous. The 1964 Republican Convention is one of the most famous conventions of the last century. There are many, many books written about it. Some of the words that were said in '64 were being said in 2012. So when I said to KQED that, it's time to move on, but I'd like to design what that mural looked like. And I think writing this book helped me to remember that. I have, all of my career, never wanted it to guide my actions, only give it credit for providing me with the courage to tackle something that seemed impossible, which is why the title never in My Wildest Dreams is there. But of course, one never says that except that you're hoping something is true. So we had that very rough beginning of being driven from that convention to being pelted, to being called names, to being treated very badly. And not because of what was said by a person whose Goldwater years. Nothing Goldwater said. It was something that a man who I admired greatly, Dwight Eisenhower, said. And it was, we never figured it out. We even went to the Eisenhower library to get the copy of the staff, get the copy of the speech that he used that night. And the words that were inflammatory were written in on the side of the script in his handwriting. So we don't know if it was dictated to him by a handler going out or what, but they were words that made this crowd very angry when he talked about liberals on the streets and liberal judges who let them go, and that will inhabit the streets of our cities with their switchblade knives and so on. So that started it.
Yeah, I can hear now.
And so I wanted this year to go to my last Republican convention. What was so shocking? I had trouble getting credentials, but I got it. It took a lot. My friend Carla Marinucci assisted me in going through the procedure. There were formal reasons. Ours was not a nightly news show, whatever they said. When I got to Tampa, I had trouble getting on the media bus. And these were all deep disappointments to me because I have watched America grow. I have watched my idea of the promise of America live up to those expectations. Because you read the book, you'll understand the circumstances under which I came in no way warrant that I should be standing here today. I came from a very, very poor family. My mother was 15 when I was born. I was given away as a child. I was given to her sister. By the time I was 3, the sister died. And then I became what was called a farm-down child. That meant I lived in the Southern style with whatever relative would take me in for a while. So before I was 12, I lived in 7 places and I lived 3 or 4 states. They were all relatives. I was never without, but they were not what one would call nourishing journalist beginnings. And so I knew, and I know about my personal life, that a lot of what some people were saying during this election was absolutely not true, because I had lived and was still living true. So on this last night when I was there making the circle, after having done that convention and many others in between, that I only succeeded at because I had a wonderful partner over most of those years, a man named Olin Post, who was the key political reporter for all of California with a crackerjacker memory, and just a great friend who adopted me, tore down walls, got interviews with people who didn't want to talk to me, and soon they became my best friends because I wanted to be friends with them, and they found out that I sort of knew what I was doing too. So there were those years. So when I was on the set saying goodbye under my terms, we said goodnight, and my little 5-year-old granddaughter came onto the set. And she sat on my lap, and I was whispering in her ear. And I looked down, and I put this along. You know, grandmothers were awful. You can't see this, but at the bottom of this page, my last page script, she has written in her 5-year-old handwriting her name, Sterling, for which then she circled with stars. I guess she wanted to signal to me that this was not the end. So that's good. Wanted to share that. And then this week, when I say success has come bountifully to me, I grew up in Oakland when a family named Nolan's owned the newspaper there. And it wasn't a kind paper to the migrating blacks into the Oakland area. But on the day of the reporting of the election, this is the Oakland Tribune with the decisions here. At the bottom of the page is a front page story about Belva Davis. Now, how is that for life, doing the right thing at the right time? At least for me. And I so appreciate it. So on that program, if you saw it previous Friday, I asked the station if I could travel to North Carolina to a dear friend, my Angela, who I think is one of the most elegant writers of our time. And I wanted to because I feel that what good things have happened to me is because of friendship. People who I have met, and we came from great divides, but we became friends. And because of those friends and those helping hands, my family's living pretty well. And I appreciate that. So I asked Maya Angelou, tell me, what is a friend to you? What makes a good friend? And I need to bring along that little quote of hers. But she talked over these. She said that to her, friendship keeps you alive. It keeps you awake. It keeps you trying to be the best. And in the middle of the night when you're lonely and feel most at odds with yourself, with life, and sometimes even with God, you can call a friend. Now some of us would say calling God was that friend. She didn't stop there, so I want the quote to be accurate. But anyway, history too is realized. So things have just been going great. So we realize you have a person here born in 1932, the depths of the Depression, to a single mother, into a poor family, who moved around without certainty of what her life was going to be like from day to day. But somehow I was gaining the skill that was going to allow me to do what I've done for 50 years in media.
learn to get along, learn to listen, and learn that you have to make other people like you. And in turn, they might do the same for you. So that was my life's lesson that I took away from that beginning.